Well, good Monday morning and welcome into the Real Monica Adams Show. Hope you had a fantastic weekend. As we kick things off this week, we'll find out if we have rain in the forecast. It's going to get a little warmer. We're going to be able to do those outside activities. We are so looking forward to spring, are we not? Now, we did spring forward on the clock this past weekend, so some of you might be a little groggy. It's the first Monday after losing an hour of sleep. And actually, that's something we're going to talk about today. What happens to the body when you lose the hour? We all get excited in the fall when we gain the hour back, but you're going to have a later sunrise and a later sunset. And we'll talk about that coming up for you in our What the Weather segment in just a second. Let me paint the picture on what's on tap today. We had breaking news last week. We have a new doctor joining us for our Medical Monday Ask the Doctors segment. And we're going to kick things off this hour with Dr. Sean Neary with Mid-America Spine and Rehab. And then we have Dr. Sara Franco coming in from InVita Health and Wellness. What is chiropractic care? A lot of people have a different mindset on why they go to a chiropractor. We're also going to talk about, again, what happens to the body when we lose that hour of sleep. I'm going to give my own story about why I'm such a big proponent of a chiropractor. And then what happens when we transition the seasons from winter into spring? We're all getting out into the garden. You rush down into that and you have injuries. Well, we'll talk about all of that with Dr. Sean Neary and, of course, answer any questions that you have. When we have Dr. Sara Franco come in, she'll be talking about scar revisions as well as mole and skin tag removal. And again, any questions that you have, because remember, this is all about you asking the doctor. We're going to do our Oscar recap because that's the national top news today. Some local news, and again, trying to figure out how we ever escalate it to this level when it comes to our kids. A teenager is in critical condition after a fight that broke out last week. And so Hazelwood East students going back to school, having to deal with that, and some consulting that may have to take place with some of the kids, maybe been friends with the assaulter or the victim. We also have a 4-year-old child that we're remembering today after that child was struck and killed. We'll do that in the local news, and we'll give you a recap of sports. But let's kick things off with the weather. Our What the Weather segment with our aspiring meteorologist, Beckett Moore. Good morning, Beckett.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, I am great, and I'm loving what you're wearing. What is that you're sporting there this morning?
Yes, this is the Monica Adams sports shirt, and I'm really liking it. Thank you for dropping it off. It's
You're
great.
very welcome. I'm sorry I missed you yesterday, but wonderful to visit with your mom for a little bit. So yes, are we able to wear our short sleeves today? How's the weather going to look?
Yes, we probably will be able to wear our short sleeves, as this morning it is chilly. You're going to need your coat out there, around 37 degrees and sunny, but then as we go into the afternoon, getting up around 70 degrees, sunny conditions, very nice day, especially compared to this last weekend, it has been pretty chilly.
Yeah, so 37 for sure as you're stepping out, but I like the fact that we're going to be warming up later this afternoon. I was listening to some of the meteorologists talk about what the normal high would be for this time. We're probably more in the 50s, right?
Yeah, lower 50s is the normal high for right now.
So again, it's been an incredible February into March, but now we're wondering, like we needed last week, are we going to need those umbrellas?
Yeah, so we're going to have to watch that as we go later into this week for that rain chance, maybe even some thunderstorms and maybe some severe storms. But first, let's talk about before that. Again, today we got a high around 70 degrees, 37 this morning, but as we go into tonight, into tomorrow morning, the low will be around 44 degrees, warming up. As we go into tomorrow, warming up just a little bit to 72 degrees, mostly sunny, still a very nice day, low 52. Then into Wednesday, we got increasing cloud cover, possibly a couple of showers around on Wednesday, but not a washout, anything like that. That's why I don't have a rain icon up. Isolated showers are possible, 75 degrees, and then really warming up as we get into Thursday, possibly 76, maybe even warmer, and that's because we're going to have all of this southern moisture from the Gulf streaming into the area, and that's going to cause for an ingredient that could cause some severe storms. So we're going to have to watch for some severe storms. It's going to be very moist, very humid on Thursday, and that could cause some storms. So we'll watch for that, have more updates on that in the coming days. Then a cold front comes through. It's still not cold, really, still in the 60s as we go into Friday. But again, something we've really seen a lot is during the week, midweek into late week, it's pretty warm, and then as we go into the weekend, that's when it gets a little cooler, and we're gonna have another cool weekend as we go into Saturday and Sunday. There will be some sun around 62 Saturday, dropping all the way down to 50, and I think we're gonna have a the spring cold blast coming through as we go into early next week could bring us down maybe even to below average temperatures, a little bit more like winter, a little feeling of winter we haven't felt in a while for sure.
Wow, so Sunday is St. Patrick's Day, and I've been to the Dogtown parades in the past, Beckett, where it snowed. So again, you never know what's going to happen in March. Okay, here's my request to you, like my mom did. Next Tuesday is my birthday, so I'm going to try to get you to give me some warmer weather on Tuesday.
All right, I'll try, but I think it's going to be pretty cold.
Well, once again, you look fantastic in our gear. Thank you so much. And when you wear it, be sure to guide people to our website. Tell them they can get their own as well. Beckett's officially launching our short sleeve version of the MA Sports shirt. So it looks great on you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for getting it.
You are very welcome. Have a beautiful day. Again, that's aspiring meteorologist Beckett Moore with our What the Weather segment. We'll check in with him later on this week. All right, let's do a little recap for you. National news, the Oscars. 7 awards going to Oppenheimer. Did you get a chance to see it? What a remarkable movie. And I would highly recommend, if you get a chance to, that if it comes back into the theaters, that you watch it in the theater, because it's needed to be in a big stage. So 7 awards, including Best Picture, Best Director for Christopher Nolan, Best Actor Cillian Murphy, Best Supporting Actor went to Robert Downey Jr. They also got a Best Original Score, Best Cinematography, and Best Film Editing. So sweeping the awards last night, again, for Oppenheimer. Best Actress went to Emma Stone, and that was a big upset. I mean, she was pretty upset with that. Poor Things, so not upset. She was just overwhelmed, and she said she almost wanted to keep pinching herself that she won. For Poor Things, Best Actress, Emma Stone. The Best Song, Billie Eilish for What Was I Made For from the Barbie movie. That's the only award the Barbie movie got. She's the second youngest singer, by the way, to win an Oscar twice. She also won for the James Bond movie, so congratulations. I do love that song. Ryan Gosling also trending this morning when he sang I'm Just Ken. He sang with Slash and Wolfgang Van Halen, of course, Eddie Van Halen's son. He also was wearing a pink sparkly suit, and that was paying homage to Marilyn Monroe, and got the entire theater to sing along with him. But the big trending moment that everyone's talking about today was John Cena naked. Well, 99%. Here's the video. Jimmy Kimmel asking him to come out. He's like, I can't do it. I can't do it. The ironic thing, he was presenting for Best Costume. And this was all because there was a streaker at the Oscars 50 years ago. Come on out, John. Look at him. Yep, he is 99% naked coming out on stage. John, major props to you. And hello, does he not look incredible? I mean, look, he looks like the Oscar statue. John Cena, definitely trending this morning. All right, besides the Oscars, let's get into some local news. Prayers going out to a couple of different situations here. A 15-year-old is in custody on felony charges after a fight that went viral. The video is all over the place, shared by adults and teens. This is affiliated with Hazelwood East High School, and those kids are going back to school today. A lot of counseling for them. A teenager is in critical condition after this melee that had broken out. I just don't understand, folks. We've got to figure out how in the heck something escalates to this point. Also, our thoughts and prayers to a young 4-year-old in the Bevo Mill neighborhood. A child playing with other kids in the neighborhood ran out between 2 parked cars and was struck and killed. And police did say that there was no reckless driving involved in this. It was just an accident. So our thoughts and prayers going out again to that family. In sports, the Cards beat Houston and Jupiter 12-8. The Blues are in Boston tonight. That game is at 6 o'clock. The Billikens, by the way, winning 73-65 against St. Bonaventure. They play tomorrow in the Atlantic 10 against Rhode Island. Mizzou starting their play on Wednesday in the SEC tournament at 8:30, late game, late tip-off. They're coming off of a loss to LSU on Saturday. Illinois starting the Big Ten tourney on Friday after they beat Iowa 73-61 in their NCAA action. Caitlin Clark still wowing fans. She was a little upset because she only had 4 points at half, comes back with 30 points in the second half, and propels Iowa to a win. Again, that is a rundown for you of local news, local sports, as well as the national trending news. And now we're going to get into our segments. Dr. Sean Neary with Mid-America Spine and Rehab, our brand new physician for our Medical Monday Ask the Doctor segment. And we're talking about a change of the sun, again, coming up later, sunset later. What does that do to our body? We'll discuss that. What is chiropractic care? If you've been to a chiropractor, is it to this level, the uniqueness that they have? So much to talk about. And then Dr. Sara Franco will join us in a half hour with InVita Health and Wellness. Let's start with Dr. Sean in the blue chair when we return. InVita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. InVita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, InVita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let InVita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online InVitaHealthAndWellness.com. Welcome back. You are tuned in to the Real Monica Adams Show. And again, we're in the InVita Health and Wellness Studios. So happy to have you with us. If you are brand new to the show, let me know where you're watching from. We always love that. And we know our newest guest is going to be bringing along some patients that have been able to see him or his partner, Dr. Bob, with Mid-America Spine and Rehab. We welcome you on board. Can't wait to have you as part of our show on a regular basis. Let me introduce you to my friend, Dr. Sean Neary with Mid-America Spine and Rehab. Good to see you.
Good morning. How's it going?
We are thrilled to have you as our newest sponsor on our Medical Monday segment.
It is great to be here.
And it's so interesting. A lot of people, this is why I tell you to get out of your own way, introduce yourself to new people. He and I met organically at the Working Women's Show. Just a smile across the room.
Yep. It said, hey, you're a personal trainer, a life coach. I think I have some patients that might need your help. Yeah. And then we just kept talking and hit it off, and here we are.
And I had just said it's ironic because it's all about timing, God's timing, a God wink from across the room. And I had known that Dr. Charles Willie, who we absolutely love, he was having to move on. And I'm like, oh, well, there's going to be this opening. So we started talking about 3-4 weeks ago about this idea. And welcome aboard to Dr. Sean. And you also work with Dr. Bob with Mid-America Spine and Rehab. So first, you want to tell them where you're located?
We are located at 1030 Old DePere Road. It's right behind the lodge, right in the same complex with Rosalita's. Right at Manchester and 270, very accessible for most of St. Louis to get to us.
And there's the hours, by the way, closed on Sunday, but accessible to you Monday through Saturday. So you've been with them just since last summer?
Kind of a long story.
Yeah.
But I was with Dr. Bob about 10 years ago. Got a job in Ohio, lived there for about 8 years, worked there. When I moved back, Dr. Bob brought me back in. So I've been there since about July.
Yeah. Again, though, as soon as he knew you were coming back in town, he's like, get him back with us.
Here.
Yes. I haven't met him in person, but I had a chance to talk with Dr. Bob last week. Remarkable guy. I've been seeing a lot of the videos that he did in the past. So Mid-America Spine and Rehab has been around for how long?
Oh, over 30 years.
30 years, yeah.
30 years.
3 decades of people getting a chance to go and see them. What are you proudest of that you're doing there?
Oh, that's a loaded question, Monica. I don't even know where to start with that one.
It's like picking your favorite child,
I know.
Right?
Dealing with the variety of patients that we see every day is just a joy because you never know what's going to walk through the door.
Yeah.
You have to be on your toes. Dealing with shoulder issues, knee issues, car accidents, health issues. Yeah. Just the variety of patients that we see is it's a blessing.
Look at that, Missouri's top-rated local chiropractors award winner.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's saying a lot because, we've got a lot of wonderful physicians in our area. But one of the things that you and I and Dr. Bob talked about was the uniqueness. And if they didn't see our quick segment that we did together last week, you want to explain why you're so unique?
Not only do we deal with chiropractic in the office, we also deal with physical therapy. We'll eventually be doing PRP. We have a medical doctor on staff. We also deal with a lot of passive therapies. So again, it's not just the adjustment. We have ultrasound, electrical stimulation, spinal decompression, traction, these things called diathermy, lasers, infrared, just a lot of passive therapies that a lot of patients don't get at other chiropractic offices that we offer to them.
If you're just tuning in, once again, Dr. Sean Neary. We are introducing him for the first time today. There's Dr. Bob, by the way. Mid-America Spine and Rehab. And one of the things that we wanted to discuss from the very beginning, Dr. Neary, is what the mindset is of what people think a chiropractor is for.
Right.
And usually it is, oh, I hurt my back, I got to go to a chiropractor.
No.
But isn't it at that point we're waiting too long because we are reacting instead of being proactive?
Exactly. A lot of things that we do deal with is people who have been waiting for too long. Oh, I had this kink in my neck 6 months ago. It went away for 3 weeks. Now it's back. Mm-hmm. Then it went away for 2 weeks. Then it came back. By the time we get to see it, it's a chronic condition at that point. Yeah. But in addition to the neck and back pain and waiting for too long to come in, one of the stories that you told me was and you've talked about it a lot, was with your clot. Mm-hmm. And it's not just neck and back pain. We are trained in so many other variety of dermatology, pulmonary issues, cardio issues. So if you come in and there's a condition, hey, I can't do anything with it, but I can tell you who to go see.
Right.
I had a patient last week or 2 weeks ago who woke up in the middle of the night, took some mouthwash, threw his head back, fell down. And he came in and, hey, my back hurts, because he fell down. I said, all right, let's back up a second. What led up to that thing?
Right, why'd he fall?
So he threw his head back, and I was like, wait a minute, there's something in the neck. So I sent him out for additional imaging of his neck to see if there was an occlusion of an artery that was blocking blood flow to the head. I'm not going to adjust him.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to send him somewhere else. If we get the all clear, come on back in. Now we'll work with your low back from where you fell.
So there's a lot of collaboration with
Absolutely.
specialists, with physicians, trusted sources. Again, if you have any questions, by the way, feel free to ask a question to Dr. Sean Neary, or if you want to let us know the experience that you have had. I know last week there were a bunch of people saying that they wanted to get in to see you right away. They wanted to switch, so hopefully they've made some phone calls. Yes, my experience goes all the way back to a young child, but especially from 19 years on, because if you haven't heard the story, I will just give you the cliff notes quickly. It was a remarkable chiropractor that I had gone to, that when I came back from a zoo that weekend, I wanted to see my own chiropractor, right? Mm-hmm. So you do really have these trusted sources. This is my chiropractor, right? My mom was such a big proponent of him. Came into him, and folks, he literally just looked at me sitting in his chair and said, what did they say? I'm not going to say, by the way, what the hospital said, because it was something that is not even a possibility in medicine, in the human body. And I kept going, never mind. I just, get me out of this hospital is all I kept thinking. And he looked at my legs and he said, it looks like a blood clot to me. And I shook my head and said, no, that's not what the doctor said. Yeah. And it was, I mean, you've heard my story. It was, but he literally just looked at me, and the smartest thing that man did not do that day was adjust me. Yep. Because in his heart and in everything of his gut said, something is wrong here, much more than her hurting her back. I did hurt my back while I was playing soccer, but I really do believe it was God's divine intervention to say, we're going to hurt your back or you're going to be dead. Because if we don't, you're not going to get into the hospital. And it was the largest blood clot in medical history at the time. I haven't looked since, but I mean, it's a huge ordeal that I went through, but it all goes back to a chiropractor's instinctual, I'm not adjusting you.
I'm not adjusting you. And one of the important things, of course, what we do is adjust. The important thing is to know when not to adjust.
Right.
And there's a lot of conditions that we do these orthopedic tests. We do a lot of, through our examination, is to find out, can we, should we, and where should we?
Right.
And the big one is, when do we not? Just like my patient a couple weeks ago, just like with you, years ago, don't adjust.
Yeah.
Let's find out what's going on first. Let's find the cause of what's going on.
Right.
And then go from there.
What would you say to people who have never been to a chiropractor, Dr. Sean, that are saying, oh, I've just seen the adjustment of the neck, it freaks me out. The adjustment of the back, it freaks me out.
Right now, we are seeing this huge trend in social media. Oh, do you hear that crack? You hear that crack? Oh, it's the loudest crack in history. It's not about the crack. And we're not the ninja that comes up behind the back and twist. And it's a very controlled, slow, deliberate process that is typically pain-free.
Yes.
A lot of people associate us with it's going to hurt just because
it's not,
you
it's
watch
relief.
it. If I have two patients in the office, one has never been adjusted and one has been adjusted, the one who's never been adjusted is going first. Because if you watch it,
Yep.
it kind of scares you. It looks, it's unnatural at first. But when you feel it and you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
No, and you suddenly feel better because you're back in alignment.
Exactly. It does take, and it's not a one-time thing.
Right.
And that's the biggest rumor to dispel.
Yes.
Like, oh, come in, we're going to get you pain-free. Not today.
Right.
We will, but it's a process.
That's because we've done a lot to our bodies before we ever come to you.
Right, which is why we also take x-rays, and we will show you on your neck or your back. Mm-hmm. Do you see this? This did not happen yesterday. This has happened over 30, 40, 50, however many years. It took a long way to get there. It's going to take time to get you out of there, too.
Yeah. If you're just tuning in, again, Dr. Sean Neary with Mid-America Spine and Rehab. And that's the biggest thing is how you feel after. I mean, that to me is the aha moment that we're all walking around and we're way out of adjustment. We're also doing this constantly, right? Or we're on our computer or as you're driving. And you see this as people age more and more and more. I have, as you said, it's decades. I trained seniors for a long time. Yeah. And the biggest thing I wanted to do was to get them more erect.
Yes, absolutely. So many people are sitting at home now, work, or you sit at your office. You sit all day, and you're tired at the end of the day from sitting. And then what do? You go home, and you sit.
Right.
And then you go to bed. Then you wake up, and you sit. It's just this repetitive process, and we continue to go into this big flexed position. What we have to do more is get into this extension.
Right.
Open those shoulders up, stand up, walk around. That's one of the big things that I tell a lot of my patients. Set a timer for every 20 minutes, 25 minutes. If you have to, just once an hour. But get up and walk around.
Right.
Stand up, open everything up.
That's another one of the many things that I love about the Apple Watches and some of the Fitbits and things like that, that all of a sudden you'll get a notification, time to stand.
Get up.
I love that.
Me too. It is, I don't like all the technology, really, but that's it. If we have it, use it.
Yes,
Yeah.
the health aspects of that. So we were talking about losing this hour of sleep, and everybody possibly at the office today, because it's our first Monday after losing the hour, what it does to the body. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about that. And then if you have any questions or comments for Dr. Sean, I know it's the first time you're getting a chance to see him today, please do so. I'll look in the comment section. Mid-America Spine and Rehab, our newest doctor for our Ask the Doctor segment. We'll have more.
Hi, it's Monica Adams. Thank you so much for following along with The Real Monica Adams Show since we launched back in March. But I wanted to let you know there's so much more that I could do with you, your business, your corporation. Did you know that I'm a motivational speaker all around the world, as well as an MC and an auctioneer? So if you have an event, maybe a nonprofit organization, and you want to book me, just shoot me an email, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. Personal training, life coaching, and styling as well. Info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com.
Welcome back. It is 7:23, and once again, introducing Dr. Sean Neary with Mid-America Spine and Rehab. I want you to ask any questions you want or make any comments you want. A lot of people are saying good morning. If you want to welcome them aboard, we'll look at the comments from you. This is funny. Linda just said, Monica, you seem to really connect with the MA people. Mid-America, Mark Anthony's. I'm seeing a pattern here. Yeah, that's funny. I didn't even think about that. It's all about the MA. We have to outfit you with MA sport gear.
Bring it on.
And you'll be like, it's Mid-America.
Right?
It's Monica Adams.
It can be anybody we want.
Someone just mentioned, and this is, again, a lot of people don't get a chance to realize what chiropractic can do for them. Donna said it does seem scary, but it sounds wonderful. I love massage therapy. I love reflexology. I've not tried chiropractor, but pretty sure I'm out of adjustment. And my husband has back issues and sciatica. So, Donna, yes, you need to reach out. What's your phone number? You want to give that?
314-966-8989.
Right, there we go. And then staywellstl.com. So mark that down. Donna, it would be really good for you to get in. Yes, it's really eye-opening. I remember going in and seeing my x-rays and going, holy cow, no wonder why I feel like I do.
Right.
But immediately, I think this is very kismic and why you came into my life, because I have, since my accident over 2.5 years ago, and this was something from the neurologist, and you would be working hand in hand with everybody that was in my care. It was, okay, what is it that you've done with her so far? So we'll do the handoff. He was worried because rightfully so. I had a concussion. I was in a neck brace. They were worried about anything in my cervical area being adjusted.
Sure.
He was mentioning that when the adjustment happens, and please talk about this, he was saying that there's like little, well, he didn't say blood clots, but he was worried about that.
Sure.
So what happens in an adjustment?
Well, there's a lot of misunderstanding with adjustments, because a lot of medical doctors, orthopedists, physical therapists think the only adjustment we do is that real quick, high velocity neck adjustment. But if you came in after an accident and we are concerned about possible blood clots or throwing an aneurysm or something,
right,
some sort of concern, we have other tools to use, not just our hands. We have something called an activator, which is a little tool that we can do an adjustment with. There's no turning of the neck, there's no snapping, there's no popping.
Really?
Yes.
So I could have come to you 2 years ago.
You could have. It's very gentle, it's very easy, very much pain-free. I use that on children a lot. And if somebody is older, geriatric with a lot of osteoporosis, I will use that on them also. Just
fascinating.
You can't push on an osteoporotic spine.
Right.
Well,
we've come a long way in chiropractic care as well.
Absolutely.
Do you take insurance?
We take the majority of health insurances, yes. We take Medicare, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, Anthem, Aetna. I could name the list, but
good.
We're short on time.
No. I'm sure a lot of people would ask. Jill just
Yes.
asked, do you do acupuncture as well?
Dr. Bob does acupuncture.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Do you take Essence insurance?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. Also, scoliosis treatment.
Oh, yes.
I need to come in. I have a pretty significant spine curve. This was part of why I needed hip replacement at the age of 47.
Oh, 47, that's early. But we deal with scoliosis on a daily basis, multiple times a day. There's now fixing a curve, that takes a long time, and you have to get on that very early. If the bones have developed and kind of, if we're in our 40s, 50s, are we going to correct it? Probably not, but we can help prevent it from getting worse.
Well, Brent, I was just going to say, if someone doesn't come in and they are diagnosed with scoliosis and they never get in, what else is happening to the body?
Oh, well, when you start talking about the nerves just don't go to muscles. They also go to organs. So then you start dealing with hormonal issues. You deal with gut issues. You deal with adrenal issues, kidney issues from those nerves going to the organs also. So adjusting the spine from those nerves, from that spinal segment going to those, you might see some increased GI function. Your kidney function starts to improve. These aren't overnight things,
right,
but these are the benefits of chiropractic.
And I want to do that on a future show because, again, I think a lot of people just think of a functionality aspect. Oh, I got to get in, I need to be adjusted, it's just this. But I was fascinated decades ago when I realized that if we are not in alignment, what it's doing to our organs, which I think it's really eye-opening to you. Let's do that on a future show. Terry just said questions about consults, insurance, and prices. Do we need referrals for accidents?
No,
No.
absolutely not.
Okay, I just saw my wonderful doctor Saturday once a month. She's taken care of me for over 30 years, keeps me aligned and moving. She's part of my body maintenance. I love that. Fabulous. Highly recommend chiropractic care. Thank you, Marilyn. I appreciate that. My chiro's been using an activator and a clicker tool for my neck and upper back since my accident for adjustments. So
wonderful.
Yes. Yeah, never had seen that. Richard says, I haven't been to a chiropractor in many years. I am fused from S1 to T12 and have had both hips replaced. Should I be scared?
No.
No.
We deal with fusions all the time. The problem that we deal with fusions, those segments are not going to move. They're fused. It's the segments above and below. Now, he's all the way down to S1, which is on the sacrum. Nothing below that. So that's not going to move. But the segment above that, it starts to compensate for all the other things. There we go. Yeah, the sacrum's not going to move. He's all the way up through the lower back, going into the thoracic area. Now that T12 L1 spot, that's going to start to move a lot more because that lower back's not moving. It's a compensation. So when he starts to move around, that T12 L1 spot, that's going to have the majority of the mobility, and that's where we have an issue.
Okay, very good. Richard, I would love for you to reach out to Dr. Neary, again, see if he can help you with that. I know, my friend, you want to get some relief for what you've been through. Donna says, a doctor showed me back x-rays years ago, showed a curved spine, scoliosis. He said, since I'm so active, that may be why I have never had pain. Never knew I had that. Again, as I mentioned, it's really an aha moment. Donna just said, wow, organs affected. Very interested. Didn't know that. I know. To me, that's one of my favorite things that I want us to do on a future show and go a little bit more in depth than
Definitely.
that. Angie says chiropractic care is amazing. You feel better. You sleep better. Helps to relieve stress and so much more. Let's talk about that from a sleeping standpoint. So we all just got a jolt to our body,
Yes.
right? We lose this hour of sleep. Sunday might have been okay. Maybe you jumped up and like, oh, really? It doesn't feel, oh, that's right, I lost an hour. But now here we are back to our work schedule. So what happens to our body when we lose this hour?
Oh, besides being
It's
stressed.
like, where do I begin?
Besides being cranky,
Yes,
for that first
yes.
hour. Yes, on Sunday, because we don't, unless you have something to be up for, hey, you can sleep for that other hour.
Right.
It's not a problem. On Monday, though, hey, we have to get up. We got to go. Our internal clocks affect so many things in our body: heart rate, blood pressure, hormonal releases, metabolism. So when our circadian rhythm is off, all of those things get affected. We see a big increase this time of year in heart attacks and strokes.
Wow.
Because of that hour of sleep. So there's a couple things that we can do to counteract that. Keep a schedule, number one. So even if you can sleep in, wake up at your normal time. Set that alarm and just get up.
Just deal with it.
Just get up. Sorry. Sorry, but you just get up.
Well, you have to.
You do. And because it's jet lag. What do you do with jet lag? You have to normalize. Screen time. I mean, this goes year round, but especially now at the end of the day, if you're staring at your screen longer, you're going to stay up later, and then you still have to wake up that hour earlier, and it's going to affect you. Decreasing caffeine after, for me, it's noon. For other people, it might be 2 or 3, but no caffeine after that because you're going to stay up later. Alcohol, those late night snacks, those all affect our sleep.
And affect the way our digestive tract is. People don't understand that. I'm not sleeping good, Monica. And as a trainer, I'm always going, when are you eating? Oh my gosh, a half hour before you go to bed? Well, what do you expect?
Right. Now all the blood's going to your stomach. It's focused here, and we're not restful at all. One other thing that I'm not a huge fan of, but at this time of year, it's fine for me in the short term, is a melatonin supplement. Take that an hour or two before you want to go to bed. Melatonin kicks in, and it gets you into that drowsy, sleepy feeling.
I'm going to introduce you to something called Booster.
Okay.
I want to bring it into you, and you'll have to let me know what you think. But I have been involved with a company called Secret for a while. It's actually on our website. That is one particular supplement that I've shown to different physicians, and they're like, oh, I love this.
Great.
So a lot of people are using Booster for natural sleep, as well as for GI issues. Acid reflux issues, things like that. I want to bring it in and see what you think of it.
I'd love to see it.
As an alternative to melatonin.
Yes.
So
melatonin is, I mentioned that one just most people are familiar with melatonin. There's other options out there. Valerian root is another good one.
Yes.
I love valerian root.
I just love natural as much as we possibly can. Yes. Again, Dr. Sean Neary, Mid-America Spine and Rehab. So a lot of you are tuning in. This is the newest doctor you're going to see with us in our Medical Mondays. So we've got about 7 more minutes. Sure. Let's talk about the transition from winter into spring and the change of outside work. Now, I mentioned this because my husband said, all right, I've got a question for him immediately. He starts to use the pickaxe. He's trying to get the yard ready, and he always has tingling in his hands. And I see him do it on a regular basis. I imagine he's got some nerve issues.
Most likely.
But we don't know until he comes in to you.
We'll check him out when he comes in. Whenever we're dealing with a numbness type of issue, we always go back to the spinal level. But back to what you were saying, going from spring to summer, we're going to be outside more. We're going to be digging. We're going to be
in the gardens,
throwing the mulch. We're going to be bent over, same as sitting in a flex position. We're going to be crouched down into the garden. It's making sure we're not staying in that same position for too long. Be realistic about how much you can lift also. Most of us aren't 22 anymore. Hey, that 50-pound bag of mulch, I can throw that out. Be careful. Lift with your legs. Be strong with your back. And again, just know what you're doing. Be careful with what you're doing.
Leave the macho behind.
Yeah.
Ask for some help.
Or come find help once you do it. But with the numbness,
Yes.
this is a very common thing, especially when we're one-sided. Is it always on his right side?
I believe so.
Yeah. So if this room just went black, what's the first thing we're going to do? We're going to go to the fuse box. Let's check that fuse box. Let's see what happened. Our body is a fuse box also. It's an electrical circuit. So we have the map of our body, and these are all spinal nerves. So if he's constantly in this spot, that tells me to go back to the fuse box on this spot up here on the neck and check there. If that's not the problem, then we follow the wire all the way down to where the issue is.
He thinks it's I don't know if it's an old football injury or what the problem is, or he maybe from lifting, because you've seen him.
Yeah.
He's a muscular guy. He thinks he may have done something in his shoulder, so he doesn't know if he has an impingement, maybe in the rear part of his deltoid or into his back. But yes, it's constantly, even when he's training, and a lot of you, by the way, you can look at a warning sign when you get done with a rep or done with the set, and you're going like this.
Yep.
Stop.
Stop. I tell my patients, there is a difference between discomfort and pain.
Mm-hmm.
We can work through discomfort. And if you've worked out, if you've been an athlete before, you know what discomfort is. That next day soreness,
Right.
that I love it.
Mm-hmm. So do I.
But
it goes away.
It goes away.
Yeah.
If it is painful and if it's preventing you from doing something, stop.
Right.
All we're doing is more damage.
Stop
after
the
that.
hero syndrome. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
I say this all the time.
Yeah.
Julie just said, I have a stubborn husband. He's been diagnosed with tendonitis in his shoulder, and now he is having tingling in his hand. So how do we get her husband in?
314-966-8989.
Please. A lot of times, ladies, by the way, we have to make the call, and we just have to take them.
Oh,
And they'll thank us later.
shocking. Men are stubborn.
Oh,
Yeah,
shocking.
right? I
Breaking
know.
news here.
We deal with that all the time. A lot of husbands, a lot of men wait too long to come in. But we'll work with them. And they also have a lot of questions. Well, usually the wives have more questions because the guys just don't ask.
Which is why we need to go in with them.
Definitely. We love to have the spouse come in, ask the questions. One of my goals is, especially if somebody's never been to a chiropractor before, I'm going to spend as much time as possible with you to make sure you're comfortable before we do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Ask all the questions.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it really, and it's such a personal connection because, again, I mean, and I think that's a lot of reasons why people have never had massage therapy, they've never been a chiropractor, they've never done acupuncture, all these things, because they're uncomfortable in their own body, which is unfortunate. This is some of the things that I'm trying to get you to say, just relax, take the pressure off of yourself, right? Stop trying the perfectionism, the hero mentality, all these things that we're trying to relax you in. Trust me, you will feel better from head to toe when you start to open yourself up to this kind of care.
I was going to forget what I was going to say about that, but yes, we feel better. The body craves movement.
Right.
So when we do an adjustment, we are moving the body, and body feels better after that.
Somebody just said, what were your hours? We showed earlier, but if you just tuned in, they are open Monday through Saturday. 8 a.m. you start?
Monday through Friday, we're there 8 to 6, and then Saturday from 8 to 12.
Again, just closed on Sunday. So you are taking new patients.
Always.
And I want you all that mentioned last week that you wanted to get into him, or those of you that are asking today, here you go. There's no reason for you to let another day, another week, another month. That's the thing that we always put it off. Then you hurt more and you hurt more. So 966-8989. It's a 314 area code, 966-8989. You may see Jim and I there getting adjusted because we're going in. We're the first two patients for you, if somebody hasn't gotten in already from last week. Oh, they have?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah, we've
okay,
had a
never mind. You
couple
beat
calls,
us.
which thank you, guys. Yes, it's great.
Well, we love having you. I just want to welcome you aboard. We're excited. And again, I think one of the things I want to dig deeper into next week is the organ aspect. Because when I heard that from a doctor about 20 years ago, I was like, because we all have the mindset, oh, my back hurts, my hips hurt, my neck hurts. Can I get adjusted? I'm going to get in and out. Almost like you're going in for an oil change. Fix me, I'm done.
Fix me, I'm done. Yeah.
No, it's not the case.
It's not. It takes time.
Yes.
It's a process.
Well, all of these things that truly are about taking care of you, it is a process. You don't come in to me and I get 100 pounds that you put on over the years off of you in a day.
Exactly.
It's the exact same thing. Let me give you a handshake. and a hug later. Welcome aboard, Dr. Sean Neary, Mid-America Spine and Rehab. And by the way, feel free to drop me some questions in advance that I can get to him for any of our future weeks, because you're going to see him around for a long time. Mid-America Spine and Rehab. Michelle just dropped the address for you in the content in the comments. And again, she said get an adjustment and then a margarita. That's what I was saying. I'm like, oh, that's dangerous. Get his last appointment and then go over for happy hour. You'll really stay relaxed.
We'll make it a party.
Exactly. Everybody, thank you again for your questions and your comments today. One more time, welcome him aboard, Dr. Sean Neary, Mid-America Spine and Rehab. We're going to transition from Dr. Neary to Dr. Sara Franco, InVita Health and Wellness. Now, we're going to talk with her today about scar revision, about skin tag and mole removal. If you have any questions for Dr. Sara, she's going to be in the blue chair when we return.
You are truly an incredible human being, and just what you're doing is so inspiring. This was really a cathartic experience for me. So I appreciate you, love you. It's been an honor to not only just be here on set with you, but just to sit in your presence. You inspire everyone around you, from your motivational speaking to your podcast here, to just being the human that you are.
It's just such a joy to be able to see you at this point in your career. Really following your passion, fulfilling your dreams, and encouraging other people to do the same.
I feel that I've been missing out. I believe God places people like you in people's lives for a reason. You have definitely been a God wing for me.
Welcome back. It is 7:40, and you are tuned into the Medical Monday segment, our Ask the Doctors. And again, we're super excited for our latest doctor. Actually, my guest, who you've known for the last several months, actually the last year, Dr. Sara Franco, our title sponsor with InVita Health and Wellness. The three of us actually had a chance to meet up, I guess, a couple of weeks ago. And this was when we were still in the process of hoping to bring him on board. What a remarkable first start that he did. But yeah, how ironic that he ends up coming on with us, because truly I have this crazy pain in my back. I'm like, well, here we go. This is you saying get in and get it taken care of. So we talk about taking care of the body inside and out, and that's what Dr. Sara Franco has done. Can I show what you just brought in and just be real and run over there?
Sure.
Okay, so talk to them for a second.
Okay.
Hang on, everybody.
Happy Monday, everybody.
So she said, I am bringing in your Christmas gift / birthday gift. Look at this. She knows I'm a huge fan of stargazer lilies, which is the flower that my father gave me when I was just a little girl. Did you do this?
I did. So that is actually a picture I found a picture of you and your dad with a lily. And then I had the lily digitally enhanced, and then found a place to put it on a canvas so I could paint it. It's a paint by number, folks. So, but anyway, so then I got to work and I was like, oh, this is so lame. But now I have so many hours invested in it, I have to finish it.
This is amazing. She's truly a woman of so many talents.
So a little part of your dad with you all the time, because that's a flower.
Do I have it upside down?
No, it's a lily. I don't know. It's yeah, I think you have it upside down now.
Now I am? Oh, because I was looking at this on the back. Just that. I was trying to play right. So this was right?
This is right. Yep.
Okay, I thought so. Oh, hi, Daddy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is gorgeous. I need to, we're going to we got a wall over here that none of you ever see that I need to start putting some pictures up on. So that's going to go up there, unless you want it in my home.
You know what? It's your picture, wherever you want to hide it.
Thank you. Isn't she talented? She's amazing. Just amazing. Well, we were just talking about changing seasons, et cetera. And a lot of times as we do so, we expose our body more. We start to see things that we didn't realize were there, or people want to cover things up. So let's start with scars. We're going to talk about scar revision. So I have a scar on my shoulder from when I had my shoulder surgery, but it's the scar on my foot that I always hate. So what can we do to these scars?
So, I mean, we're never going to be able to take care of them completely. If you have any kind of injury to the skin, then it's gonna remain there in some form or fashion. But what we can do is break up a lot of those bands and help a lot with the discoloration. So folks that have keloid scars, or just, just a bad closing of a scar, we are able to go in and do a couple techniques to just break up those bands and help regenerate collagen and fill in those spaces.
So what do you do?
Microneedling with radio frequency. So we'll numb up the area. It's probably the top treatment. We can also inject different steroids, triamcinolone, things like that. That'll reduce the redness and the swelling, particularly with keloided scars. But the microneedling really does a great job. I mean, when you microneedle the skin and use radio frequency, you're basically aerating your skin, just like you aerate your yard, and then it fills in with collagen. So it's going to fill in with fresh, healthy tissue instead of having that disrupted tissue.
Microneedling, for people who have never heard that, what is microneedling?
So it's literally little needles that will go in. If you use it with radio frequency, then it will deliver some electricity and then come back out of the skin. And we use like a stamping technique. It's been wildly effective. It's also good for skin tightening if you have a lot of skin laxity. Helps take care of fine lines and wrinkles and things like that. But it's a little bit more of an invasive way. But
that was my next question.
Right, it's an invasive way, but a very effective way of inducing collagen formation.
So if someone's doing microneedling and they're not doing it for a scar aspect, but they're doing it for fine lines, wrinkles, things like that, how many times are they coming in to do? I guess it depends on how bad the wrinkles.
It really depends on from where we're coming, but we generally recommend a treatment, a series of 3. We also have a package of 6, but that's going to be pretty aggressive. A series of 3, when you get that collagen stacking, that's really whenever you get a reduction in those lines and wrinkles and scars.
So if it's invasive, they're not going back to work later that day, or they are?
They actually can.
What is the skin looking like?
It's going to look like you have a sunburn on it. It's going to look pretty red and angry. Now, there's not all.
What'd you do to me?
Not all microneedling is created equal. So what we use is a Morpheus. It's an in-mode product. It's kind of the godfather of microneedlers. You can literally buy these things like off Amazon too. So I would warn you,
Well, I don't think people should be doing that to themselves.
I don't either. But they are out there. So
no, go to Dr. Sara for it.
But you really, there's not a lot of downtime. I mean, I don't know that I would necessarily go back to work that day, but you would be good to go back to work the next day.
And then you would just maybe, again, a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't want to tell anybody that I'm doing anything, which is just so silly. Again, this is me trying to get you all to be real. If you've got coworkers or whatever, and they're like, oh, did you get a sunburn? No, I'm taking care of my skin.
Right, exactly.
I mean, really, you know what? That's a good point to bring up that we haven't talked about since we've been doing these shows. Can you tell people that come into you just to kind of relax a little bit more? Because do you have some of them that just say, oh, I don't want anybody to know. I don't want people to know that I'm doing this.
We hear that hourly.
So what do you consult them on to be able to tell them to just let go of that?
Well, we just let them know that aging is a process that everybody's going to go through. If you're wanting to, what we see a lot of are folks that did not take good care of their skin early on, then they get older and start to show those signs of aging, and they want to know what they can do to fix it. We're all getting there. It's just how gracefully you want to, you want to top out. So we just let them know, one, anything that is done at the clinic, we, adhere to HIPAA just like anything else. So unless you tell anybody where and what you're having done, then they're not going to hear it from us. But also, it's not anything to be embarrassed of or ashamed of. You're just, we do things that try to make people, if, we've noticed you feel better on the inside, you want to feel better on the outside. You feel better on the outside, it makes you feel better on the inside. So there's definitely a correlation there.
Well, it goes hand in hand. And actually, when you and I first met back in, I think it was March of last year, because we really started talking about this in April. But in March, we discussed how much we would collaborate together. Talk about the fact that what you just said. People are feeling like, I want to look good here. All right, what am I doing on the inside? All right, this is looking better, but I've got to get some weight off. I need to eat healthier. I need to probably work out with a trainer. I need to get my mind right. It all just kind of goes hand in hand as you're trying to get, again, the body to work out better. Do you think it's gotten better? I really think, and I keep going back to the pandemic, there were so many things that people decided to do and start to talk about. So I know forever ago, people used to go, don't tell anybody that you have Botox, right? Don't tell anybody you're having this done. Don't tell anybody you're having that done. But do you feel like in the last 3 to 5 years that's gotten better?
I think after everybody sat on a Zoom meeting and saw
Yes.
their face, they were like, okay, we got to do something here. So I've definitely seen an increase in business since everybody was at home. But I think, those stigmas are going away. Now you're kind of in the minority if you haven't ever had Botox. So, and there's so many medicinal things for Botox as well. So I think definitely a lot of those stigmas, that we've fought with, mental health stigmas, taking medication, taking care of your skin. Those are all things that people have just come to realize it's preventative maintenance.
Right.
It's going to slow down all those processes that you have, and there's just less of a stigma that goes along with it.
Let's go back to again, if you're just tuning in, Dr. Sara Franco from InVita Health and Wellness. We're talking about scar revision. We're talking about a couple of other aspects also about moles and skin tags, things like that. If you have those, you have any questions about them. But with regards to the scar, what can they also be doing after they're doing their treatments with you? Are there certain types of lotions and things that they should be putting on the scar? I remember when I had a fracture in my foot, and when I first had it done, this is like 20 years ago. I remember the doctor saying, "Now, Monica, you need to be putting this on, and this will help with the scar as well." Besides, obviously, hopefully that he did his work, his handiwork in surgery that day.
Right. Vitamin E oil, anything to keep the skin
Vitamin E.
moisturized is going to be helpful. Of course, you want to let it heal before you start, slathering things all over it. But really, doing things like protecting your skin. If you have a scar, it's going to need a little bit of extra SPF. You're going to have to baby that area. It's damaged skin. So doing all of those things, and then, really adhere to, especially if it's like a surgical scar. I just treated a patient that had a scar from a shoulder surgery, and she was in an immobilizer, which allowed for the beginning of the healing, but it's, you put your clothes on, you put your shirt on, there was a lot more movement there than what she realized, and it caused her scar to get worse. So if you're told by your physician, don't move this area, immobilize this area, let things heal, it's going to take more than a day or two, and you need to adhere to that.
What about the timing of the scar? So some people, do they come to you like shortly after it started to heal? They maybe just had the surgery within the last few months. But what about the people who have they're tuning in this morning and saying, well, I have a scar that always bothers me, but it's been there for a while. Is that going to create a difference in how many times they have to come in to try to get this to be limited in what it looks like?
It really doesn't seem to make a difference for us. Older scars, newer scars, we do advise people to wait at least 3 months. And if their surgeon tells them something different, then they need to respect that. But at least 3 months, and it takes 28 days for collagen to form. So you need to give it a minimum a month before you have anything invasive done to it. But we say a good 3 months, let that collagen form what it's going to form, and then we're able to start to take a look at things that we can do to help improve it.
All right. Anybody have any scars? If you have any questions about that, let us know. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about those moles that you might be frustrated by. Skin tags. I have had so many people, I don't know why it started coming up, but people started talking about that within the last couple of months, and they're like, can these things be removed? How do we get them removed? Well, she's got all the answers. We're going to talk with Dr. Sara Franco about that when we return.
We need women to lift women up.
Let's do that.
Being on Monica's show, it was like one of the best interviews I've ever had.
Monica's very real, and she really cares about people.
She's changing lives.
Changing lives.
I think this is just really what people want to see.
Giving back so much to the community, and I really appreciate it.
Today, Monica was extraordinarily real, not only with me, but with her viewers and her listeners.
Made the interview process like talking to a friend.
How are you doing? See you. Haven't seen you in a few weeks.
Hey! You're close!
Monica! Whoa!
So go out in this world and be anything you want to be. But before you do that, first, be kind.
Let's go. I love that promo so much. Zach Kimball did a wonderful job on our promos. I want to thank our team. As I always say, you couldn't do it without a team. So, George, we miss you. George is out working on a secret contract back. I don't know. It's amazing. Yeah. So he's doing that for the next few months, but he trained Zach so well. Zach is directing right now. Hannah Gassman will be with us, by the way. We've got our big Vault luxury resale show coming up live on Thursday. If you like fashion, you're going to enjoy that one. That will be live, by the way, with some models. We're going to show a before and after from daytime to an evening transition. We can't wait for that one. And then, of course, Michelle, who is everything to our show. She's been doing so much. She's dropping all the content in for you. And my husband, who many times takes off work for me to be one of my field producers. So thank you to our team. Sara knows it's all about a team. You couldn't do it without your team at InVita.
No, not at all. They make the world go around there.
Yes,
so.
You have a remarkable team for sure. So, okay, for the people who have moles or they have, actually, let's first say what is a skin tag?
A skin tag is just an overgrowth of skin. So it's usually a collection of skin and collagen is all it is.
Interesting. Okay, so the moles and the skin tags, they can be removed. A lot of times people just, I think more from an aesthetic standpoint, they get frustrated, they don't like it, they've had it since they were younger. Some of them are a little worse and, maybe do they change? Do they grow? And if they are growing, is that something to be concerned by?
It is. So we always adhere to the same things that the dermatologist will tell you. So if it is a mole that is changing shape, if it's growing rapidly, if it's changing shape or irregularly shaped, if it's irregularly colored, so maybe it's kind of flesh colored on one side, but it's getting darker on another side. If it bleeds, if it itches, those are all moles that you absolutely need to go get checked out.
Because they could be cancerous.
Absolutely.
Okay, but if they're not, and it's just, I don't like how it looks, what can we do for those?
So there's a number of different techniques that we use to remove them. My favorite kind of latest one that seems to leave the best residual after is a plasma pen. So electrosurgery is what we use.
And what takes place with that?
So it's just a generation of electricity that cauterizes, so stops the bleeding and cuts at the same time. So you can get so you don't have like a cavernous indentation after you're finished. The bleeding is controlled. It's a nice, clean way to excise the mole and control the bleeding at the same time.
Is that done in one time, or do you have to come more than once?
No, it's done in one time. So
Really?
we'll put some numbing cream on so that you don't feel the stick. Then use some lidocaine with epinephrine to numb the area all the way around. That's a little stick and burn, like a little bee sting, under the skin, and then we're just able to excise it. And the more raised the mole, the easier it is to excise. So it just takes a few minutes.
And then after you're done, again, just like we were talking about with scars, et cetera, things that, as we're getting into spring and summer, we have to be careful after that's done. Make sure that we're having like more sunscreen and things on it.
Yep.
Right?
So for the first week or so afterward, just keep the area clean and dry. You can keep
Does it
covered.
have a bandage on it? Or,
we do put a bandage on. I mean, depending on the location of the mole or the excision, we can put a bandage on. But generally, unless it's going to be exposed to a lot of dirt or debris, then oxygen is good for. I have to tell my kids this all the time. I'm like, we don't have to put a Band-Aid on absolutely everything. So sometimes just a little bit of air is great too. So just keep the area clean and dry. It will have like a scab over it, which is literally like the clot that we've created so that it's not bleeding. You need to let that fall off. Don't pick at it. Don't pick at anything. Don't pick at your face. Don't pick at pimples. But don't pick at it. Keep it clean and dry. And then of course, baby it with some sunscreen.
What is it with popping pimples? My mother, I'm going to call her out. She used to go to my brother when we were younger, and she'd go to his back, and all of a sudden he'd be like, "Ow, what is wrong?" And she's like, "What?" She's like, "It's so fun. It's rewarding to." Isn't there a Dr. Pimple Popper?
Yeah.
I've never seen that show. What is that all about?
Well, I mean, I have seen it, and it doesn't bother me from like a grotesque point of view. But I remember one of my triplets walked up on my exchange student and my daughter watching it, and you could just see this whole facial expression change. She was like interested and then mortified. And you just like watch the whole gamut of facial expressions. So
what is it about people wanting to? It's rewarding.
I mean, it is rewarding, but then the training in me is like, don't pick at. Don't
gets
pick
inflamed,
at it.
right?
Don't pop it. It does, right? I mean, now there are instances where some of that needs to come out, but using your dirty hands to do it, or I mean, I've heard of like, I stuck a needle in it. I'm like, just don't do that. If it's something that requires that kind of aggression, I guess, then you probably need to go to someone that has the tools to do that
So so they see a whitehead, what do they do? Leave it alone?
You just need to leave it alone. Yes,
They're not going to. You know,
Yeah,
we're trying.
Everybody's
we're on
going
a
to be
mission.
picking at their face, and I'll find myself. I'm like, stop, just stop. So, but yes, don't pick at things. And then always sunscreen. Just sunscreen. You have to protect it.
Are there any areas like for moles or skin tags that you cannot remove? Any areas of the body?
Well, I mean, I don't go near, if skin tags on the eyelids are very, very common. We do not.
Okay, that was my question.
We do
and
not
this is
do
why.
that.
Because when I was younger, and you're going to love this, when I was younger, my dad, I kept going, Dad, what is this? And he's like, we're going to take you in. And I'm like, okay. So we did, but I cannot stand anybody near my eye, which I think most people, and that's why thank God I have good vision that I wouldn't want to put a contact in. I'd hate anything near my eye. So the doctor was doing it, and I backed off a little, and he's like, it's okay. And I'm like, okay. And so he tells me it's not going to hurt. He goes to go in, and it did. I could feel, because he was trying to numb, and all of a sudden I punched him in the gut.
Okay.
Which, think about that. How stupid. He has something in my eye, and my dad's like, Monica, and I go, it was just a reaction, like, get out of my eye. And I went like this, and the doctor's like, you feel that? And I said, I do. I did. So I still was like, get away from me. But I see one coming again. So that you would need to go to an eye doctor for that.
You need to go to an eye doctor for that. You do.
What makes so we haven't even asked that. What causes a skin tag?
So skin tag is just skin rubbing together. Now, there is a or a genetic predisposition to that. So if you have family members that have skin tags, then you are more apt to have skin tags, just because at some point there's like just an overproduction of collagen. But generally, so if you're obese, if you're pregnant, those are the people that we see the most often with them, because you just have skin that is rubbing together, and then causing, that collagen to form.
Well, how does it form in the eye?
Well, I mean, if you think about it,
when you're rubbing.
If you're rubbing your eye, if your eyelid is rubbing up against your eye, people with a lot of allergies that are rubbing their eyes real aggressively, which I used to do all the time whenever I was little. I mean, if your eyes are itching, you really should just like hold some pressure on them, and then of course, just get root cause of why are you getting acne? Why are you getting freckles and moles? Why are you getting skin tags? Skin tags can also be a sign of metabolic disorder, so high cholesterol, diabetes, those kind of things. Not always, but your body's kind of in an inflamed process, and that's going to be manifested in various ways.
So whether the mole or the skin tag, both kind of similars?
Well, skin tag as far as the metabolic disorders.
What about the mole? What causes a mole?
Some people are just moly. They are.
That's going to be a reel. Some people are just moly.
When you have freckles, those are generally that's sun damage. Moles are. Moles are just they're going to be there. So, some people have raised moles. Some people have almost the keratosis kind of moles. The bottom line is just make sure if you see something that is new, that you keep an eye on it. Yep. If it's something that's been there forever, or your dermatologist has taken a look at it and has deemed it just unfortunate but not anything to be worried about, then we can take care of it for you.
What about a wart? Can you remove those too?
We can remove warts as well.
What causes a wart?
That is actually a virus. So so you have to and there is like it's almost like an iceberg with a wart. You have what's on the outside, but it really goes deep inside. So it's really difficult with the over-the-counter things to actually ever get the root of that killed. So we kind of have to kind of carve it out just a little bit.
So it doesn't come back again.
So that it doesn't come back, right?
I remember when I was a kid, people used to talk about warts, and then I don't really hear them anymore. So I was like, what the heck was happening in the 70s?
Yeah, I don't know. And I always, the frog peed on you, or, there's all kinds of things. That is not true. That's not actually what happened. But I don't know. I guess we were just dirtier when we were kids. We don't see warts as much as we used to, but definitely, and people don't lay out in the sun like they, you hear about these. I used to rub baby oil.
My mom said it. I told you were cringing.
I know I did. When I heard her say that, I was like, oh, you know better than that. But I think we just take a little bit better care of ourselves. So we're seeing a reduction in those kind of things.
Again, Dr. Sara Franco, you know her hopefully. If not, and you're just being introduced to her right now, you will see her every Monday with our Medical Monday Ask the Doctor segment. I want to look at some of your questions before we wrap up. So Dr. Sara is the sweetest. Well, that's very, very nice.
Thank you.
Somebody said microneedling is great. I had it for my elbow. I've never had microneedling. You love microneedling?
I love microneedling.
Okay, because we were talking about some things that I want to come in. I want to speak firsthand, by the way. You actually gave me a list. I forgot that I had that of some of your favorites. So let's talk about that as we go. We've got a handful of minutes left. As we go from winter into spring, and we're talking about, again, taking care because we're out in the sun more and more and more, and protecting yourself always with sunscreen. But for people who have never been into you and you just want them to just glow, what are some of your favorite treatments that you would want us to get introduced to?
I would say microneedling, which we're talking about now, and just before anybody even comments, if they haven't already, that it hurts, we can do things to minimize that. So we use topical numbing, but one of the perks of coming to somebody that's trained in anesthesia, I'm also able to do some nerve blocks as well. So so then you don't feel the stick, and then we're able to numb up some areas so that we can cover the majority of the face and neck with that. If not, then we can just do some local infiltration. And then IPL is the second thing that is so rewarding to, it makes your makeup lie better. Your skin just feels so soft and smooth. And that's going to also bring out any sun damage or take care of things like rosacea and things like that.
IPL, you also do hydrofacials. Jamie and you and others there do the hydrofacials. You do dermaplaning?
We do. Yes.
That's rewarding.
Yes.
That really...
It's very rewarding for us, too.
Yes.
I love seeing the frog fur just scrape off there.
We see so many videos that are moving around on TikTok and Instagram, and you're like, oh my God, look at how furry we all are. But hey, let's just be more real. Don't act like you're not, because you are. So we have to deal with it for a little bit and then say, nope, we're not dealing with it. We're going to let you do it. Leona said, how long after knee surgery can you have the microneedling done?
I would wait for, like I said, a minimum of 3 months, and then we can microneedle over the top of that.
Okay, and then Richard said, I got 35 shots of Botox in my face and neck for 10 years after 2 months for migraine preventative. I'm on a new medicine now that I only need to take one shot once a month. Wow, I mean, there's so many things you had mentioned that I know a lot of times people used to talk about Botox just from an aesthetic standpoint, but the medical side of what's being done with Botox is fascinating to me.
It's really cool. Now, if you're getting treatment, because we do not take insurance, if you're getting treatment for migraines, that's generally something that would be covered under insurance. So I would recommend, because it can get pretty expensive, going to someone who specializes in that and that can run it through your insurance. We work with a couple dentists in town where we can do masseter injections, which will help with TMJ and teeth grinding. It also kind of narrows the face and gives you that upside down triangle, so that's nice as well. You can do trap injections for, now that will also give you the Barbie neck, because it will basically cause atrophy of that muscle right around the neck. So
what is it being done for? To relax
for tension. Oh. Yep. So if you walk around and you're constantly tense, you can have that done. And then in addition to that, I've done one time, I got trained in it, but only done it one time. You can actually get Botox injections into the turbinates of the nose if you have allergic rhinitis and you always have a runny nose and things like that. So in addition to paralyzing muscles that are causing wrinkles and things like that, there are some medicinal uses as well.
Again, every time she sits in the blue chair, there's something new and new and new that I did not realize that they could do. Fascinating stuff for sure. So if someone wanted to do microneedling, would you suggest maybe that they try to do it on a Friday, and then by the time they return to work on Monday, would that redness still be there after a couple days, few days?
The redness should be gone by then. No, Friday is a big day for us at the office as far as, if the weekends are kind of your downtime. But we have a lot of folks that are like, I'm going to be out all weekend long. My kids have a baseball tournament or they have a soccer tournament. Then it might not be the best time, because you really need to protect your skin. Microneedling is basically controlled injury to the skin. So you really need to baby it a little bit. So if you are able to kind of hide out inside, then the weekend, Friday would be a great time to do it. If you're going to be out all weekend long, then either pick another weekend to do it or have it done through the weekend. We encourage people to just put Aquaphor on for the first couple days, kind of keep that area very, very clean. You can put makeup on, but if you think about it, we're poking these holes. Why clog everything back up with foundation and concealer and highlighter and things like that? So anytime you can keep the face clean. I tell them a thin coat, you're going to look like a glazed donut for just a little bit. So thin and often with the Aquaphor, because that's going to lock that hydration in there and prevent it from drying out. And then after 48 hours, you're absolutely good to go.
And then lastly, after having some of these things done, what is the best moving forward to try to keep it longer lasting?
Well, if it's for scars, then go ahead and, you can continue to use some of those silicone-based gels that are good for scarring, vitamin E oil, that kind of thing. Keep that area covered if you're going to be out in the sun, or if you're, if you can't cover it, then make sure that you have SPF on it. But really just, moisturizer, making sure the area is clean, and sunscreen is going to be your best bet.
All right, let's give all the information for those of you that haven't been there yet, but I love so many of you that have been telling me that you've gone in and how much you love her. I know, I told you, you would fall in love with her, not just her, but her entire staff. So we'll put it up on the screen for you so you have everything you need for InVita Health and Wellness. It's InVitaHealthAndWellness.com, located at 333 South Kirkwood Road, and then the phone number 314-394-0950.
Exactly.
Right there.
Yes. Yes.
All right, I'm going to actually be going in today because, we've talked in the past about making sure you get your labs done, check your testosterone, check your progesterone, estrogen, et cetera, et cetera. So I'll be coming in to see you actually in just a few hours.
Okay, perfect.
I will see you shortly. Okay, we've got to do our devotional.
Okay.
What color are you feeling?
Let's do orange today.
We haven't done this one in a long time. 100 Days to Freedom from Depression. That's how we'll wrap up the show when we return.
InVita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. InVita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, InVita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let InVita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online InVitaHealthandWellness.com.
Welcome back, and thank you again for tuning in, and thank you for your questions. We want to thank Dr. Sean Neary and Dr. Sara Franco. That's what we do on Mondays, Medical Monday, Ask the Doctor. We go in depth for you to take care of your health, take care of your body, both on the inside and out. So remember to bring your questions to the table. If you have anything, by the way, that you would ever like the two of them to cover, just reach out to me, info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com. All right, Dr. Franco picked day 17 of 100 Days to Freedom from Depression, and this is called gratitude. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. Many times this verse is misquoted as give thanks for all things. Think of it. Being grateful for the flat tire on the way to work. I don't think you're going to. Thankful for that argument with your spouse that left you with hurt feelings. You're not thankful for that. Thankful for the flu. Doubtful that touched everyone in your household, or COVID. Is this proof that God is asking too much? But what is he really asking? To give thanks in all circumstances. That sounds different, but maybe just as hard. So, when we're faced with heartache, with disappointments or loss, it can be a little easier to focus on what we do not have or the ways that events did not turn around as we expected. It can be easy to slip into trying to manipulate circumstances in one favor, right? The problem is that our view is short-sighted. We stop seeking God's will, and our focus is then turned inward and then very limited. What God is inviting us to do in times of distress is to turn our focus to him and the blessings that he has actually provided to us. When we refocus, we realize that God's been faithful in the past and continues to be in the present. We start to remember that he has demonstrated his faithfulness in both good times and in the bad times. When we focus on being grateful, the suffering and pain of today starts to shrink in comparison to what we know that God can do. Our trust then can grow, and our anxiety then lessens. Our mood can become more joyous and turn to praise and thanksgiving rather than constant complaining. In moments of sorrow, give thanks and be glad. Melody Beadle said, gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates that vision for tomorrow. Dietrich Bonhoeffer says it's only with gratitude that life becomes rich. And Charles Dickens said, reflect upon your present blessings, of which every man has plenty, not on your past misfortunes, of which all men have some. Today's prayer: Father, although I'm struggling, I am willing to be grateful in my circumstances. Please help me to find something to be grateful for every day. Help me to see what I have instead of what I do not have. Amen to that. We always end our shows with devotionals from these wonderful books, 100 Days to Freedom And this one, again, from Stephen Arterburn, and it was today, depression. Thank you so much for tuning in for our Medical Monday, and we do it every Monday, our Ask the Doctor segment. Appreciate all of you being a part of the show and all of the questions and comments that you have made. I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss any. I don't think so. If we did, we'll always go back, and I'll make sure that myself, Dr. Sean Neary, and Dr. Sara Franco get a chance to drop in comments for you. I was at a wonderful wine dinner over the weekend and met one of our, actually saw one of our friends who we had on the show not too long ago, STL wine girl Angela Ortman, who we absolutely love. And she told me that there's a wonderful woman named Alicia Blackwell Calvert that I needed to have on my show, and the notoriety that this woman has gotten. She used to be the sommelier at Cinder House down at the Four Seasons, but she's done a lot of things in her career, breaking barriers. She is a wonderful sommelier, but also it's the woman side. She's a woman of color as well, and she's just blazed trails. So we're going to have her on tomorrow and shine the spotlight on her. Coming up, as I mentioned, on Thursday, we have our big before and after show, our beautiful fashion makeover show that we're going to do with the Vault Luxury Resale in Brentwood. Really looking forward to that and getting a chance to show you what you're able to do from morning to night. I'm going to feature seniors and the remarkable things that they can do with a gym that's actually in Cincinnati. Lucas Schroeder will be my guest, and we are going to showcase what you can do. Don't give up on yourself. We're going to show some 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, 90, 95-year-olds, and so the videos are going to blow you away of what they can do. So stop putting grandma and grandpa in the corner and saying, oh, you don't need to do that, or you can only lift 1 pound. I have a woman right now that I train that's 71 years old, and she just pushed up 30-pound dumbbells doing bench presses. I mean, come on, just absolutely remarkable. So that's some of the shows that are coming up for you this week. So thank you every day that you tune in. Be sure to share and like and follow our live stream on Facebook and on YouTube. To all of you, thank you for your dedication to the show. Go out and enjoy the day. It's going to get up near 70 today, some sunshine as well. So grab the sunglasses, wear your sunscreen, as Sarah said, and remember, each person that you meet today, be kind to them. God bless.